If you're wondering whether or not your blog posts are actually doing anything for your business, you are in the right place. Hey, love, I'm Amber, founder and CEO of Maven Marketing, here to help you make SEO make sense. Today, I'm going to share a quick tutorial on how to use Google Search Console to figure out whether or not your blog posts are actually doing anything for your brand. We're talking how much website traffic you're getting from them, what keywords people are clicking into your blog post from, and how many times people are actually clicking into the blog post when it shows up in Google search results. Let's get into it. All right, friends, so I am in a Google Search Console property. If you have not set up Google Search Console for your website yet, definitely take 10 minutes before you dive into this to get everything set up. All you need is Google Analytics access or access to your website to add a small snippet of code to your head tag to verify that you own the website. To get to Google Search Console, just go to search.google.com/search-console. You can see that URL right here. So go ahead and log into Google Search Console and let's take a look at your data. When you log into Google Search Console, you're going to see this overview page. This has just like a quick summary of what's up with your website in Google's eyes. There's recommendations, there's indexing info, all of that. I like to dive right into the performance tab and search results. When you click into the search results tab, you're automatically going to get a 3-month view of what's been going on with your website. You can click into this more button here to start comparing. So if you wanted to compare the last 3 months to the previous 3 months, all you would do is click apply. Or of course, you can add custom dates right here if you're looking at something specific. So backstory on this website before we dive into too much data, because it'll make the data make a little bit more sense as we dive in. This website had a really big spike in traffic in November of 2024. You can actually see that on the graph right here when I hover over it. You can see the difference of 11/1 to January 1, for example. 2,600 views versus 4 views. This is a result of a sale that a brand that this company was selling had. So this sale brought a ton of traffic to this website because their website was optimized for the keywords and for finding them on Google and buying from them. Huge win for the brand, but it does kind of skew the data a little bit. So the owner of this website came to me and was like, I'm wondering what my blog posts are doing and why I'm not seeing as much traffic anymore. So I'm going to use her data as an example today so you can understand how I'm diving into it, and then you can apply this to any site page on your website. It's always important to have an idea of what has been going on for the brand or business that you're diving into data for before you only look at numbers. Like I was saying before, they had a huge traffic spike in November of 2024, which is in my 3-month period that I'm comparing to. So of course, things are going to be down, right? But I'm still able to draw conclusions and figure out what to do next, knowing that information. So let's do a quick lay of the land before we dive into more data. First and foremost, clicks refers to how many times people clicked into the website from Google search. Impressions refers to how many times a website showed up in Google search. That doesn't mean that it was ranking number 1. It just means that it showed up generically in Google search when somebody searched for something. The average CTR is referring to the click-through rate, meaning what percentage of people actually clicked into the website after it showed up in search results. And then finally, your average position is referring to what page of Google your site is landing on. So I like to think of it in 1 through 10s. This is a little bit different depending on the day, really. But with AI overviews and things, the 1 through 10 is not an exact number. But if you think about 1 through 10 as page 1, 11 through 20 as page 2, 21 through 30 as page 3, you get the idea. You can get a quick gauge of where your website is ranking. So that's what those numbers at the top mean. And then when we scroll down, you have a couple different options. You have queries, pages, countries, devices, and search appearance. So queries is always going to be referring to the keywords that are bringing people to your website. This is super valuable SEO information, especially if you're trying to get a blog post or a website page to perform better. You can see is beauty counter back was one of the top keywords here. The site showed up 433 times in the last 3 months, but 509 times in the previous period. That's good information to look at. And it also got a lot more clicks in the previous period. Ironically, that's because beauty counter came back, and we already know that because we know the state of the business. But if we wanted to dive into this keyword to figure out like, okay, what page did they land on when they searched for this keyword? All you have to do is click into it. Then you can dive into that exact same data for that keyword. So I can see that that keyword brought 35 clicks to this website after 433 impressions. So that's an 8.1% click-through rate, which is pretty solid. It was significantly higher in the past period, but that's because Beauty Counter had that really big sale. They came came back online for a short period of time. So that makes that data make sense. But it's really cool that you can dive into this level of data for a specific keyword to understand what is going on with it. And then when you scroll down, you can see what page of the website actually showed up for that keyword. So for example, if this blog post wasn't one that we wanted to show up for that keyword, we would at least know what the keyword is and where to put it on our website, and we could make an optimization from there, like updating a title tag to include that keyword on the page that we actually want to show up on Google. Getting back to the main search results page here, you can also go into pages to see what your highest performing blog posts were. So this is ironically the same blog post as the keyword in the previous section, but let's use this second one just as an example. The blog post is titled 5 Beauty Counter Dupes You Need Now. So in the past 3 months, it's had 46 clicks. And it actually stayed steady. So this is a really, really good sign that going the route of, hey, beauty counter is not available, here's an alternative, is working well for this website. If we click into this, we'll be able to see what keywords brought people to this blog post. Again, we have that high-level summary data for this blog post specifically at the top. When I scroll down, I can see all of these keywords that people typed in Google and then clicked into this blog post from. So now, say I was not sure what dupes I wanted to mention in the blog post because it was just like a high-level overview or something like that. I could use this data to then outline another blog post that could be supporting content to drive sales for other affiliate marketing that I was doing with the brand, specifically because this is all around dupes and Beauty Counter isn't available right now. So say I had a code for a different beauty brand's tinted moisturizer that was a really good Beauty Counter dupe. I could write a blog post all about that and know that people are already getting my site shown to them when they're looking for this. I just need more specific content to get people to click into it for this keyword. Navigate back to the pages view of search results, you can also see what your highest clicked on post or page is just from this report. You can see how many times it showed up on Google in the impressions column and how many clicks it got. So if you wanted to do some research of what you could improve on your website, you could click through until you find pages that have impressions but no clicks. This is an opportunity for you to optimize your page. So let's look at the natural retinol alternatives one. I click into this, I see that it's had 1,100 impressions. This blog post was published 3 weeks ago, so that's actually really good. It's interesting too because the average position is 79, so that's not even close to the top of Google search results. So this has a lot of work to do, but we could utilize this information to optimize the post a little bit more with some keywords to see, okay, Google is already showing this as a result for these keywords. Let me optimize for these to get it higher in search results. When I scroll down, I can see the queries of natural retinol alternative, natural alternative to retinol, retinol alternatives, etc. You get the idea. I can see how many times this has shown in search results for that keyword. So 245 times this blog post has shown up when somebody searched for natural retinol. So I could take this information and make sure that natural retinol was in the front part of my title tag, for example. Also go ahead and open up the blog post simply by clicking into pages and then this little arrow button right here. This will show me the blog post and I can use a tool like SEO Meta One Click to see what my title tag is. So best retinol alternatives, that's pretty good. But maybe I could say best natural retinol alternatives instead of just retinol alternatives, since I know that natural retinol is a keyword that I'm showing up for a lot already. And finally, if you've recently written a blog post and you're not sure why you're not getting traffic from it yet, it's a really good idea to check and see if it's actually been indexed. It's very normal for websites to have pages that aren't indexed, so don't freak out if you get to this and you see a bunch of non-indexed pages. All you need to do is click into those and dive into what pages they actually are. You can see all of the errors here. When you click into them, you can see fixes. It's really helpful to understand like what is going on. There's also like lists of URLs and all that, so you can check on a per URL level if you're having an issue with your site. You can also use the URL inspection tool to see if a specific blog post or website page has been indexed by Google. All you do is click URL inspection and paste that URL there, click enter, it'll retrieve the data and it'll tell you whether or not it's on Google. In this example, this one's actually not on Google. So all I would do is click request indexing, test it to make sure that the URL can be indexed, then it'll let you know that it's submitted request. Once you get the green check mark saying that indexing has been requested, you're good to go. And then Google will actually email you when that page has been indexed, or if there's an issue, they'll let you know that as well. That email will come from Google Search Console, so definitely make sure you open those when you get them. Google Search Console is often the unsung hero of blogging and identifying how your website content is performing for your brand. So take 10 minutes to set up your Google Search Console account if you don't have one. It's completely free. And then take some time to dive into your data and see what queries are bringing people to your website and what keywords you can use more effectively on those pages to drive more traffic from Google to your website. Another bonus of Google Search Console is the fact that they will send you a quick recap every month once you set up your site. So if you're like me and you're not great at pulling the data and seeing what's up, you can get an email automatically without having to set up anything to let you know how much traffic you got from Google, what keywords are your highest performers, and if there's any issues with your website, all because you took a couple minutes to set up a Google Search Console account. If you want to learn more about SEO and you're not really sure where to start, check out my SEO courses. They are designed to make SEO super easy to understand and implement on your website. All of my courses include detailed tutorials just like this one that walk you through the process in a step-by-step way without having to watch the entire course at once to get to the part that you need. Literally organized by tasks. You can just click in there and find what you need. And of course, if you want somebody to optimize your site for you, just hop over to my website, mavenmarketing.com, and check out my done for you SEO packages. I'd be happy to help you out. Happy optimizing!